Sophia, what's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. Sorry about the delay. My computer decided to randomly start itself.
No, it's fine. I 100% understand. And you're like, why? Why now?
Always. Ignore my stock photos that I still haven't put picture frames in.
Got you. Not a problem. Do you mind if I record before we keep going?
Oh no, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. Got you. So how's your guys' day?
It's good. It's been
good.
busy.
Yeah.
Just running around, just trying to get some stuff straight and had to train a new employee and just nothing crazy, just a consistent day.
Yeah.
Got you.
How about yourself?
So there's real quick two things. One, there's slight lag
Okay.
for no good reason. And second, could you guys please say who you guys are for the recording? Which one of you which?
No, sorry.
I'm Eric Kopak, and
I am Sean Kopak.
Got you. Thank you so much. And you guys shave to look exactly like each other?
we try. It's the identical twin thing, you know.
Yeah, always.
Got you. So, like I said in my email, the purpose of the interview is to hear how you guys got connected with the local coffee and restaurant scene and your path of going on Kobros from we love coffee, we love to make this work, to getting ready to open a permanent location. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So first off, coming to HRVA and loving it, I know you guys are from Florida. But you're certainly, I know, adopted locals in everyone's coffee hearts now. But how did you guys get connected with the local restaurant and coffee scene having not been from here?
So
I think you want to start with your I don't know, when you moved here.
Yeah.
How you kind of got into that.
So I joined the Navy and I got orders to Norfolk, and I've always been in I guess the like punk hipster scene from growing up and just being wild as a teenager.
Yeah, Orlando kind of has that culture.
And we kind of definitely just identified with a lot of the there's like a lot of second wave coffee shops in Orlando when we were growing up, and that just is kind of a welcoming place for just kids that weren't like
I don't know, misfit kids, kind of just
a common ground outside of the parents' house, you know. And so when I moved here and I was in the Navy, like a lot of my friends that were going through the pipeline that I was in moved away, so I didn't really have like a lot of the people that I moved here with. So I kind of dwelled into the local restaurant scene. I had a place downtown Norfolk, and I became really good friends and probably the regular at Field Guide when it was downtown Norfolk.
Yes.
And I love those guys in there so much. I was in there probably 3 or 4 days a week eating dinner at the bar there. And I was heavily into the art scene here in Norfolk back then. I originally wanted to do illustration and graphic design when I was younger, and still eventually, but I made them a little painting just with Field Guide and some of the characters that I draw, and the guys threw it up above the bar there, and they loved it so much that they asked Dave, the owner, if I could do some murals in the bathrooms there, and I gladly, wholeheartedly did that, and kind of got to know Dave, the owner, from there, and I was just always from then on out a diehard of his visions and his restaurants that he has here in the area, and just became friends with him through that, and was always whispering in his ear about this coffee dream that I had. He gave me an hour of his time when I asked for it back in 2015. I was 21, still very much like active duty on a deployable squadron, and I was talking to him about a coffee shop idea, and the best advice he ever gave me was simple but effective in saying start small. And I had dreamed up this vision since we were 15 years old with Sean, and he was on the West Coast at the time, and he would fly into Norfolk to come visit me, and we would just have this talk since 2014 when I moved here about opening a coffee shop here.
Well, and then you were kind of indulged into Cure. He had I think the first art show at Cure.
No, I had my first art show at Cure, but that just the common ground in Norfolk really in coffee shop, in the coffee scene, resonated with me from my growing up in Orlando. And it resonated with him when he would visit here enough to where we said that there's enough growth in this city and area of Hampton Roads, and opportunity, and just like the insane amount of the backing of locals here is just unmatched anywhere else. And it's kind of weird. Half my friends have moved here because they would come visit me here and see just how much the community is oriented here, and just there's really an energy here that we love.
I moved here. I mean, I started visiting him back. I was in the military a year before he started, or he came here even. So I was already out in the San Francisco area, and with the job I had in the Air Force, I was traveling 250 plus days a year, every year, and seeing a lot of different nooks of the world, whether it's Tokyo or Australia, Italy, the Middle East, a lot of the Middle East, literally like 6 of the 7 continents I was constantly visiting, and I got really tired of the classic military bar scene very quickly, and just I didn't want to be, in dive bars every night with the classic just military crowd. And I wanted to I joined the military to travel and to see the world, and I wanted to do that and remember it. And so I started coffee shop hopping instead of bar crawling, and getting to see the local communities through that, and it really resonated with me. And then so when I started visiting him when he was out here, which the first time I visited him was on a military jet. I was on a mission picking up jets in Langley to go to Europe. But I came here and we just kind of, walked around downtown. He took me to Stella, and I was like, it's a cool atmosphere here. The community is really, really cool. There's not a lot of coffee though, honestly. At the time, it was kind of Stella and Cure, and Cure was kind of new at that point. It was still pretty fresh. So it was a pretty like untouched, and like coming from the San Francisco area was crazy to me. Like I was over there like in Blue Bottle and Ritual, and a lot of these heavy hitters that were around at the time, and still around, that kind of paved the way for specialty modern coffee. But so moving here, I guess to answer your initial question of how I got involved into the industry was by luck and just kind of perseverance. As far as I know, like the Equinox crew, and they opened their doors the week I moved here to Norfolk, actually, and I was very excited. I went there the first day and introduced myself, and I told Ty like straight up, I was like, hey, how are you liking your first week? Like, I am going to open a coffee shop one day, and I want to know what are your thoughts, like, first week opening? And Ty kind of like was just like, who's this guy coming at me so strong, probably. But and I started to become a regular there because it was the only place that I could get like a really good cappuccino. And I started, whispering in Ty's ear, being like, hey, I just got out of the military, and I really want to work in coffee. And I was applying to like Starbucks. I was just trying to get my foot in the door any which way. And no one would hire me. No Starbucks would hire me. Like I applied to like 7 Starbuckses, and I found myself at one point like begging the manager, who was probably like a 18-year-old kid downtown on Granby Street, for like an opportunity. I was like, hey, did you see my resume? I was like, I know you've seen it, and like being like, please, like, let me sit down with you. And he was just like, dude, we're too busy. And he's like, why are you? He's like, you just got out of the military. Why are you at Starbucks? But it was interesting. And so then Ty, one day we're in Eric. I owe Eric like all of my jobs, honestly, outside of Air Force. But we're in Equinox, and Eric's like, this guy will scrub your toilets if you hire him. And Ty's like, all right, let's do it. I need some help. And that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with Equinox. And the rest is kind of history. I don't know. I owe Ty at Equinox a lot. I owe this man a lot. But that kind of like got my foot in the door, got me even more excited about coffee than I already was, and really led me to know a lot of people in the industry.
And I guess we should preface this with this, but this shouldn't have happened at the timeline it did. Like, we were planning on doing this come like 2025, when we had a lot more ducks in a row and things like that. Just a lot of, I always bring it back to opportunity costs. A lot of like saying yes to things, and a lot of being open to when people ask, hey, like, what do you think about starting this? Like, what do you think about doing these things? And saying a lot of yeses to things that we might have not have been comfortable with doing, but knowing that we would get it done no matter what. And we owe a lot of the people that gave us those slight just cues to being like, hey, like you should do this now, and we're like, let's just run with it. And I think a lot of it was us getting lucky, and a lot of it being us just being crazy enough, I guess, to just run with it and say like, let's throw 10 grand towards espresso machines that we've saved up, through our jobs and what we've been doing. And it's all been through us up until recent months, where we've asked the community to help us create this dream that we're starting here in hopefully May. But yeah, that was a long beginning. I'm sorry. Like we don't often even like bring up like the whole reason on why we got here, what rather what we're doing here now. But I guess it's been a journey this far, and it's interesting when people like are always asking us like, how'd you end up in a military town? And we say we're military, and a lot of people don't even
they have no idea. And it's kind of fun. Yeah, we don't try to flaunt that card too much. I don't know. We're humbled. I'm very proud of what we've done, but like I don't want to be the like veteran owned like I don't know, business that is Norfolk.
Yeah, and I feel like Norfolk has enough of that as it is, just being a military town stigma. But like I always preach on, and we always preach on, just if you peel back just ever so slightly a layer or two of Norfolk and take it not at face value from what you can Google about it, there is such a scene here that is underplayed a lot, that I think a lot of people are discovering now, especially there's just an incredible community here.
A lot of passion.
We love. Yeah. So I don't know.
No, that was exactly what I was asking. You answered like 5 other questions that I had.
Yeah. Sorry, Sophia, we went on a tangent. But,
no, that's exactly the tangent I was looking for, because that explains exactly how you guys got into it and met the people who made all the difference.
Absolutely. I think the only person.
Oh yeah, huge shout out to Dave Hossman.
Dave Hossman, yeah, he definitely so when I started at Equinox, I also literally the day I moved here, I dropped a resume off to Toast, because I don't know, after visiting for years, I'd always I enjoyed the people that worked there. I enjoyed the atmosphere that it brought. It brought all walks of life through those doors. And
probably the one of the biggest influential mentors for us.
Yeah. And he also, he gave me a job essentially. And when I had no qualifications to be bartending craft cocktails by any means, and just kind of taught a lot of valuable customer service skills, and taught passion, honestly. He made it fun, just food and beverage. And of course, Eric had been whispering in this man's ear since 2015 about opening a coffee shop. And I continued to, as he was my boss, whisper in his ear. And then that space next door came available, and he asked us if we wanted to do something. I don't think either us or him intended for Kobros to be what it was. I think he thought we were gonna have a water kettle and some
drip coffee,
coffee in there, and it wasn't gonna be what it was. But I think everyone's pretty happy with how it turned out. So that's the only other thing I'd like to add to who got us to where we're at is definitely Dave Hossman. Was a huge influence, and all those guys over there. Yeah.
Got you. So going to the pop-up, so you guys found out about the space because Dave told you about it. What was the process of getting it ready and opening it and running the business side of things?
That was a big learning curve.
So we got the keys in December of 2019. It was literally to the week of a year since Sean had moved to Norfolk.
Yeah.
And I was leaving for my one of my last detachments. I flew out to a ship a day later. And so I was excited but anxious, and just we got the keys, and then I had to leave for essentially a month. So a lot of like basic prep work went to this guy who I was communicating on Microsoft Outlook email, because that's all we had. So it was like,
it's like every 5 days. It wasn't doing like anything crazy,
and this guy was terrible at communicating at that point, where I was like, send me photo, like do anything and everything, like tell me any updates. And obviously, like in the very beginning, there's kind of little that we could do outside of like, trying to get in contact with the city and try to figure out what we were able to do.
And it was pretty interesting. It was, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely, working with the city is always very interesting and fascinating. And we're trying to like figure out what exactly to call ourselves as a business, because I mean that space for one doesn't, we're a food and beverage, a beverage spot that doesn't have running water, and we're trying to figure out the logistics behind that.
Which I don't think a lot of people even know now, is like we're running with, I mean, a lot of people haven't actually been in the shop, but if you take a second to like
listen, I think
figure out the nooks and
you hear
crannies,
like the water motors and everything.
Yeah, we've been running off of Deer Park water for the entire time we've been
high-end distilled water. It's honestly a blessing and a curse. It's a lot of manual labor, hauling around like 5-gallon jugs all the time. Logistics too, but it's been a blessing because we're really able to quality control our water. We have like probably I would say like the best water in Norfolk, right, running in that shop.
And outside of coffee beans themselves, the second best thing you can do for coffee, like making it and brewing it, is having good water. So
90% water anyways. But so that was definitely interesting, was like communicating with the health department on what they needed from us, and to make sure that we were doing everything properly. And it was definitely an uphill battle that took a lot of communication.
But building out the space was interesting, because we had a Baron. It was originally the Thank You Gallery, which are still the homies to this day.
Yeah, Billy Raza, awesome.
That's
aunties. He's another huge influencer in our food and beverage culture, who's doing absolutely amazing things in Norfolk.
But it was essentially kind of a blank canvas. It used to be a gallery, just blank walls. So we were trying to figure out how to, and it really has taken on a space of its own. We know we wanted gray walls. We wanted something a little darker themed, just because that's how we had seen the culture in other parts of the world. Like I like the whole premise of coffee to us, I believe, is like finding our little nook in a cafe and things like that. And I like having like a little place stuck in between two plants and a corner, and just kind of envelop myself in like
where the wild things
are status, like Max,
the forest is growing in his room, kind of. That's, I don't know,
just
on that a lot.
Kind of get lost in the space you're in. And so it kind of just grew out of some gray walls. Our bar build out in that space is some workman craft benches, so we wanted something sturdy that we could throw some 80-pound espresso machines on, and then we got some metal from the local some of the local industries around here, and just kind of put it together, and we were a nervous wreck about looking like a little janky or anything like that. And the highest compliment somebody's ever given us was this guy Ben, a good friend of ours, said, "You guys are like the dive bar at coffee shops." And we were like, all right, we'll take that, as a compliment, because I think
we're operating out of a garage. It's definitely I don't know. It's a unique space, to say the least.
Yeah, but it was interesting opening up. I was on a detachment while we were trying to get everything together, and then trying to figure out the rest of my life with my other job life, essentially. And I mean, I owe a lot to him to get the kind of hype building behind it. And we opened March 7th or 8th, March 8th of last year. So it was a week before we went into phase 1 of like the COVID pandemic. So
it's pretty crazy.
So I don't know. It's been an interesting year of just trying to navigate that, and we are eternally grateful for the community to
adapt with us.
And find 24th Street and ask for a cup of coffee out of a garage that it's kind of crazy.
Whether it's and stand outside when it's like 18 degrees outside and raining, like sleeting. It was always surprising to see the amount of people that would like come through no matter what the weather was. And it was very grateful because, I don't know, we were there no matter what the weather was. So it was nice to see loyal.
Including you, Sophia. I think you've been there a few rainy days.
Yeah, on some very rainy days.
So thanks for coming through always.
Of course. I mean, as a latte lover, I was like, they have the best lattes. And my mom is like, you're going to Chesapeake. Why are you going to Norfolk for coffee?
Well, thank you. Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
We appreciate that so much. Seriously.
Sure. Yes. Every time I meet someone who's like, oh, I love coffee, I'm like, but have you been to Kobros? Because then you don't actually love coffee. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So talking about that ramp up, Sean, what was your guys' marketing? How did you guys get the word out outside of just the local community that had always been supporting you that were already in the restaurant industry?
I mean, Instagram's definitely been like the saving grace of, I think, businesses in 2020 and 2021. And that was kind of the main platform. I've always had a passion for photography. I've never wanted to do anything professionally with it. I've never even I barely take pictures of my friends, but I always do have a passion for that. And I like taking pretty pictures. I like taking pretty pictures of coffee. And we have beautiful lighting in there, thankfully. And so I think we tried to look for stuff that we enjoy in social media and in marketing. I would say we're huge consumers of local products in Norfolk. We're huge consumers in general. We're bad at that between the two of us. And we like certain aesthetics and certain things and marketing tools, and
just kind of threw it at the dartboard and hoped it
worked. And for some reason, I don't know, I think I like to, I don't know, I'm very bashful about our social media, and but I can't tell you how many times people have asked us like who does your marketing and stuff like that. And I think it's hilarious because it's literally just like us, two high school educated goobers that don't know anything about it, honestly. But we just kind of pick and choose. But I think Instagram was the biggest thing that we did. And
other than that, we've really it's been, we have a little website. We pretty much do word of mouth, and that's it. We've had a few people from some major social media reviewing platforms, apps, Yelp, things like that have reached out, and we've kind of tried to stay quiet with that types of stuff because I've seen that work very positively, and I've also seen it work very negatively. And we've been trying to preach on the saying that we're trying to get trademarked or something of low key local, keeping it. We don't want to be the destination coffee shop where every influencer wants to go through to take a picture. We admire that and we love that, but we wanted some place for the community to be able to come on a Saturday and Sunday and talk to us, talk to their friends, talk to their neighbors, and just see what's going on in the community, rather than being the place to do these things. And I think it's really shown in
we grew up in tourism land in Orlando, and I love it. But we definitely I think that's what's drawn us to this city, honestly, is that it is low key and very, very much I don't know, you can't go to Harris Teeter without running into three people and I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think that's what we strive for, and I think that's honestly what's made our social media and our presence popular, I would say, is because we are locals. We're there, we show up, and we're
well, what's it you always say? It's in your community.
When we started Kobros, I always look back on this, but it's I wanted to know my community, and I wanted to be known in my community, and I think that's what we bring back every day, is what we try to do.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at speaking on our social media and the I guess the hype or whatever you would want to call it is starting from the beginning, we had 0 followers. We weren't even telling our friends we had a page or anything for this. It just kind of appeared, and it started from there. And I think it shows a true testament to just providing, just not having no expectations and seeing what comes back from that. And I think we have 4,000 followers now, and I would like to say that at least 90% of that are people that live here in Norfolk, in Hampton Roads, that have either come to our shop or are trying to come to our shop. And that's because I think it's just I know a lot of other businesses, not saying in Hampton Roads, but just that I follow that are in complete different cities, different parts of the world, and I might never go there or anything like that. Whereas like I feel like the people that follow us on Instagram are here in this community, and they're following because they see they want to see what's going on in the community, kind of. And I don't know. I think there's something that we try to take a step back with social media and just see what we can do starting from the beginning and going from there. And I think that has a lot to be thankful for in how successful we are. And it's just only growing. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Just the two of us so far, and our friend Corey. We got to give a shout out to Corey.
Corey Jackson. He's been a great. When I don't feel like taking pictures and he's around or I'm working, he's always around doing dope stuff with us. And he's been a wonderful friend.
And he does our video work, I guess you could say.
We definitely we definitely bring him on for video work and definitely a decent amount of photos when we're too slammed in there. But
so actually, I wanted to ask you about Corey because I know that he does do a lot of your photography, and I know it's contributed a lot to the aesthetic that you guys have because he nails it every time.
Yeah, he really can play with what you want.
It's been interesting. We don't even. I mean, I've never communicated with him. He's a wonderful artist and also a fantastic cook, by the way. He cooks for Toast as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he just he's very transformative with his art, and he can, I don't know, he just like sees what you're doing and he can nail our aesthetic. I would say like so perfectly. I think he does a great job. And wonderful. Yeah, Have a Good Day Studio. He works for them as well. And he definitely is a wonderful asset to their team and they all do amazing stuff. Good friends of ours too.
When did you feel like Kobros was actually going to be a success? Like we did.
I don't even think we're still there yet. I don't think we're still riding a fine line, I would say. And I think we talked about
I think the first time we realized that we weren't in over our heads, but we needed help was in June. It was we always saw. I mean, I guess even through this interview, just talking about community, and I never thought that in a million years I would land in Norfolk and be happy to be here. But this has truly become home for us and for because of the community. So in June, we decided to do that Decaf Fridays that have become kind of a staple of ours. And we put all our money towards the Urban League of Hampton Roads. And that was right after the George Floyd incident. So I don't even know what to call it, just George Floyd. And we had raised $1,000 in 4 hours and had a line reaching around 24th Street. So just seeing that and serving $1,000 worth of drinks in 4 hours really showed us that the community was not only here for us, but they were here for the community of Hampton Roads. And it kind of showed us that if we keep doing these things for this community, they'll keep doing things. They'll keep hanging out with us and
allowing all of us to come up.
And we keep saying like we don't win until everybody wins, kind of thing. So just seeing that the community is allowing us to stay here and be a part of this city and this area. It started in June. It started essentially when we opened,
we always preach on. I know our favorite movie was A Christmas Story, and or not Christmas Story. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. I'm thinking of Christmas films off that. Our favorite film is It's a Wonderful Life, and we always come back to the quote in that film and of like
no man's a failure without who has friends.
And I think that's what I define success is having friends. And I think with our business, it's not just a business, but all of our regulars are friends of ours or have become friends of ours, not just through business, but through just I don't know, it becomes a routine in both people's lives as a consumer and as a business owner and operator, to where I don't know, these are people I look forward to seeing every single day, and having conversation with, and like being maybe what could be the first interaction of someone's day. It could make or break someone's day. I've had terrible mornings going through a Starbucks drive-through where someone's just in a shitty mood at 5 a.m, and it has not, I don't know, it rubs off on you. And so we try to strive to make everyone else's day better. And I think that's what makes us successful too, is just being friends with our customers, and like having that relationship is what I define as success. And I think with that, we are successful. So I don't know if that makes sense. That might have been a very weird tangent.
Yeah, we tend to go on tangents if you didn't know.
We're awful.
This is how we are 24/7, just rambling at each other, and outside of the twin telepathy thing. But
no, it's great. This is absolutely perfect. So also, I'm from a Chick-fil-A background. I worked at Chick-fil-A.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yes. I still say my pleasure at the end of phone calls, and I'm like,
yes, I'm all about it. It's like those things stick with you, I guess.
Yes. So going from pop-up to a full-fledged store, what has that process been like from a business perspective?
Expensive.
Yeah, we never
very expensive. It's been fun. It's been very interesting. I think Dave told us years ago years ago at this point, when we were talking about building out a space, he's like, I come from a mechanical background in the military, and I tend to think of myself as pretty handy, but I think the thing we've learned most is like about construction, and learning about how to,
just small handiwork,
pipe a sink and like fix a leak. And we've learned more about woodworking and stuff like that than anything. And
just realizing how much, I guess, goes behind
small details that no one notices, plumbing. And
we're going to have an 800 square foot cafe at this point, and it's hitting close to like $50,000. So it's like seeing how pricey it can be. And that's on top of like we have all the equipment bought from this pop-up and everything. So just
to get things up to standards for running a small coffee shop. We're not even doing a commercial kitchen in there or anything like that. And
I guess from moving from a pop-up to a brick and mortar building, just the biggest thing, I guess, is seeing from being the two owners and operators of the build out that we did for the pop-up, and like getting the machines, getting everything ready, just us as individuals, to having other people integrate into the build out has been the biggest.
Shout out Zach at Haypacks.
Yeah, we'll shout out everybody. Zach from Haypacks is the
he's been a great friend, a neighbor. He's across the street from us, literally across the street from 24th Street, Kobros. And then through that we've gotten to know him, but he's taught us a lot as far as like going to a brick and mortar, and he's our contractor and our builder, and he hasn't babied us in any means. Like we were in there the other day hauling 4,000 pounds of concrete out of there ourselves at 8 o'clock at night, and sledgehammering floors, and he's taught us a lot, and it's been a very good learning.
He calls us Kobros Shovel Co. because we do a lot of
shoveling over there.
But I guess with that, it's just having a lot of other people integrate into our vision, rather than just the two of us getting things done, and having a lot of positive aspects of people that are able to communicate and help us. And then the only negative I would say is the timeline in which we want is now we're not, I wouldn't say waiting on other people, but kind of just waiting on other things to happen to allow us to push forward. And that's just, I don't know, gathering patience for those things. And I don't know.
It has been cool though, because it's really cool to get to meet people in that side of the community. Like we hired A1 Plumbing. They're all Norfolk natives, and like our electrician and everyone else. And like, I don't know, to be able to support, like to be a business and support other businesses, local businesses, in 2020 and 2021 is really dope. And I love, I don't know, getting to see that side of the house is always really cool.
Yeah.
And then they become lifelong customers. And so I don't know, everyone, it's really, I don't know, I think the biggest picture I've seen with a build out is like, I don't know, you develop relationships with people that'll probably last a very long time. And it's been fun. It's been fun. I don't know. It's been fun, stressful, but mostly
I never thought I would be more energetic about, I think I said this, I might have said it to you, but that more energetic about like seeing a clean floor without a trench through it and plumbing like is like
dirt everywhere
Yeah.
inside of a building. It's been crazy, but it's been fun. Yeah, and we're still tackling the last bit of that between we're back from like dealing with like talking to construction people to like now we're back after getting permits to talking to the city to get our final permits as far as like health department and some final build permits. But it's been fun.
Yeah.
Met a lot of people.
I bet. What would have made the process smoother? What do you wish you had known ahead of time going into this?
I wish we would have known Robin Thomas earlier. She's an architect in the area
on 21st Street. Yeah.
Or knowing to get an architect
off the bat
as soon as we could, because that was they're quintessential, I guess, in saying that like they know what the city wants, what we want, and then they're the compromise in between. So I guess just having her on the team sooner would have made a lot of things go smoother in getting permits pulled, getting things organized to where we could just push through.
If we would have hired her a few weeks earlier, it would have made everything smoother because we were like, I don't know, we're in the dark, like trying to find out how to apply for permits. And then getting her on the team, she was like, oh, I'll do all of that. And definitely like, I don't know, made us feel way more comfortable. And also just, she's at our shop every weekend now getting coffee. So it's really cool to, I don't know, be able to talk to that person and have open communication. I think, that. And then I wish the city of Norfolk's website was a little bit more up to date. That would be really cool. It's been interesting. I think
everybody's learning with navigating the working from home a lot now, like a lot of people in the city as well.
Are learning how archaic that website is.
And just trying to figure out, like what the right numbers are to call and things like that. But
it's still better than I would say most like federal websites as far as like, I don't know, coming from the military, it's still better, but not by much. And in the military, I could just call someone and they would get it done. And in the city of Norfolk, you're playing telephone for like 12 hours. So, but I think other than that, it's been pretty smooth. I would say it's, I don't know, that's like the infamous saying when you're building out a new space is like, I don't know, never put a date on it because it always extends past that. And I think I was saying dates, but in my head, I knew that it was going to take this long. And so I think, I don't have any quarrels with the timeline that's happened.
You can't rush perfection. And I guess that's kidding. Joking.
Anything but
complete joking. But no, we're excited. We're excited just to, I don't know, expand and have a place like that. I guess with the pop-up to the brick and mortar transition, we were supposed to be out of the space that we are currently in on 24th Street by the end of summer, but with COVID,
last year.
2020.
Oh. Yeah, we were supposed to be out of there like August at the latest.
So COVID really extended our ability to stay in that building, and then it also gave us a lot of time to look for another space, and we wanted to stay in the Park Place area or close to it because that is where we consider home. I live here in Park Place, and I wanted to stay in this community of just this area in this side of town.
Yeah, we know a lot of people in this area,
and now we're known in this area. So finding the space on 21st Street was it took time, and we were looking at a lot of other locations, a lot of other visions, and this kind of just fell into our scope of things, and it's been awesome. So we just we didn't want anything too big, and this is perfect for us and for the time being. And
I think it'll be cool. 21st Street, as anyone that lives in this area knows, that 21st Street is kind of like the great divider and the great median of Norfolk. It bridges the gap of Granby Street and Hampton Boulevard essentially, and kind of
Llewellyn.
It's the great, I don't know, you find everyone that lives in Norfolk on 21st Street at one point or walk past them. And I
Where
think
is it on 21st Street? Is it where the Town Center Cold Press Roastery used to be?
yes, yeah, down the road. We're closer to like Volcano Sushi and
Bangkok Garden.
Bangkok Garden. We're right next to Bangkok Garden.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, those are our landlords. They're wonderful people. They've helped us tremendously. They're the same. I don't know. Again, it all comes back to I don't know. Getting into the industry, the only reason we found out about that space being open because it wasn't even on the market, was Ty at Equinox. I was just having one of our many coffee business owner venting sessions that we have,
as we had today.
Yeah, as we have today. There's way too many tears shed in the back of kitchens in random spaces,
cafes,
around Norfolk, that goes unnoticed and untalked about.
It's mainly us. It's us.
Yeah, it's just us two crying and then venting to Ty essentially. But yeah, he mentioned that his landlords at his space on Collie might have a space opening up soon, and I've known his landlords because they are constantly in his shop, and I knew that they were great people. He spoke very highly of them, and they're local restaurant owners in this area as well, and they've been tremendous, Runksy and Gene. But yeah, it was just again getting to know people and just talking in your community. You get to know people and opportunities come up, and it ended up being a perfect fit for us. So yeah, but I don't know where we're going with that, but I think that was another initial question, but just tangent again there.
No, that was great because there's so many people that I know who want to start companies in the area, and they're like, where do I go? What do I do? What are the concrete steps? Like, I don't need a business plan.
Yeah. And that's so often we talk about it on like where do you start? And that's where we were at.
I think
and it's just being
kind and talking or asking questions to people that are kind as well. I think Dave gave us the time of day, and Ty did as well. And I don't know, I will give anyone the time of the day that is trying to do something. And I think that's what matters. I mean, I don't know, people will come to us sometimes and try to ask hard questions when there's like a line of 30 people, and I can't really do that then. And I try to be as understanding as possible. But I don't know, anyone that reaches out to us, we try to get back to on that.
And I wish there was a handbook for every small local city to like how you can get those steps
maneuver a little bit easier.
But I think it goes back to what David told me back in 2015, and it was just start small, you know. And he was telling me to have like a little stand in the streets on Granby downtown, and I was like, you know,
this might be in the works. Who knows?
Yeah,
we've always wanted the pop up in front of the Wisconsin. And
like right at the bow of the Wisconsin with just a little bar.
Yeah, a little stand there. Beautiful. And I don't know, we've spent too many nights walking on that boardwalk there.
And that's what we did. We started small. Like a lot of people, I feel like we're in the coffee industry. We're questionable about. What we're running right now is 2 Linea Minis, which are home, essentially luxury home espresso machines.
Yeah,
but that's what
commercial machines meant for people that want commercial, like cafe style coffee at home.
But it's not the $20,000 espresso machine that some people have. Yeah. So it's like we try to start within our means of hey, we needed cheap rent, we needed things that we weren't willing to cheap out on, like espresso machines, but we wanted quality.
Small. Yeah, quality but small. And I think we did some out of pocket, not traditional things that people were kind of skeptical at first. A lot of people were very skeptical, honestly, especially people in like the traditionalists in coffee were just like, what are you doing? But now that those people are regulars, and it's kind of cool to see that, that I don't know, prove people wrong a little bit. And I don't know, they not even we'll prove people wrong, people that were doubtful in a friendly and loving manner. And it's really cool and fun. I don't know, it's fun.
Well, even for us, like I wouldn't say that we were like doubtful of like, okay, like can we fully operate on this to the spectrum that even now it surprises us on a week to week basis on how many drinks we're putting out
with quality and
these small machines that we have been a true workhorse for us. I think it all just goes back to starting within your means, and don't overreach to something that you might not be able to come back from. And I mean, I think about it every week we're open on, if the pandemic in March when we opened up was to be detrimental to us, like would we have been able to come back from that? And that's yes, because we started within our means. So I think that's the biggest thing for advice to people trying to open a business is just start small and be passionate about it, and the people will follow. It's that easy. And just be open, I guess. Yeah. But I say that as we're only open 4 days a week, but be open to the community.
Yeah. I think a lot of businesses have started that way. I look at like Dave at Toast. He owns Handsome Biscuit. He was in there in a 400 square foot kitchen, just slinging biscuits, and they killed it. And then I look at like Dustin and Eric over at Prince Inc. and or Matt, Dustin, Matt. I'm silly. They're twins. So I always
Eric.
We're all twins, and they're Air Force guys too. It's funny, but they they started out in on a very small scale and have grown to what they are as a printing beast that is this in Hampton Roads. I wouldn't even say Norfolk. They are Hampton Roads printer, and on a worldly scale, they're doing stuff for like Facebook and other stuff. So, but I don't know, talking to them is always fun because they started small, very tiny.
I think that's what Norfolk's about is those humble beginnings.
Everyone, a lot of big businesses. Look at Three Ships even. They started out in a trailer. Eric was there when talking to Brad when they were on cold New Year's mornings.
He probably doesn't remember that, or Brad doesn't, but we talk nowadays, and it's super cool just to
see that. I look at like the Grand Kitchen over there on North Collie. And aunties, I don't know, those are all people that we looked up to, and now it's fun to be able to almost consider them peers. I still look up to them. They're all like bigger brothers. And Ian at Codex, all those guys, they started small. Ian started in Shoot Pendulum meat markets,
and I think that's just a thing about Hampton Roads is how many owner operators there are, to where you see these faces of people that are owning businesses where
they're your neighbors.
I feel like growing up in Orlando, and Orlando has definitely evolved since then, but not seeing a lot of the ownership in the buildings of the businesses. So I think, and we do stay in the Hampton Roads often, so I don't know how often it's happening in other cities, but especially here, I think it resonates here a lot with just seeing the owners in their businesses
being present,
and I think that's such a key thing for a lot of local businesses nowadays, is just being there for your shop, because if you're not there, then people don't resonate with it as much. I feel like, and that might just be us, but I think a lot of people think the same thing.
Definitely. So walk through a week in your guys' life. You guys work different jobs. You run this on the weekend. How do you manage your schedules? What does it look like to run this? Time.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I was going to talk on yours because you're probably going to be humble about it. But I mean, this dude's still active duty Navy, and he's still like, this dude doesn't take a day off ever.
Wow.
Whether it's between Kobros or being an active duty Navy instructor. And then when he's at home, he's outside mowing the lawn with his girlfriend and still being what he is. And I think that's awesome. And this dude
just like
stays crushing it.
There's not a lot of sleep in a week-to-week basis, but
the fact that this guy's over here like good or happy Saturday every morning at 9 a.m. is crazy to me, because this dude works hard and plays hard and doesn't stop ever.
But I mean, I would say the same for you, just on a different playing field. And it's I don't know, making time for things. And I feel like sometimes in my life, a lot of other parts of it aren't taken as care of. Like I should probably hit cardio more often because but I have to, prep for the shop or go to the day job. But
I kind of took over Kobros as being like my job this year. And like when I first started, I was still bartending at Toast on the nights that we weren't opening Decaf Fridays. I think, I rotated into when COVID really hit, everyone kind of downsized a little bit, and I walked away from that and allowed other people that needed it more to work there, and went to Kobros full time. which didn't see, I don't know, at full time when it first started, it was just 2 days. But it was like, I don't know, a lot of thought and research into what we were doing every week, where I was researching coffees, ordering different coffees.
And we were very, I guess, meticulous in making sure that we never want to backtrack, where we would be open more and then burn ourselves out or burn the business out, and not be the full expectation that people have of us nowadays. So starting at 2 days a week, now we're 4 days a week, and then moving into the new location of being open just about every day. I think was a process for us, and it still is, just finding the logistics behind it. And I would say average week is going to work pretty much Monday through Friday, and then him doing like figuring out what the week is going to be like for Kobros, and then doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
Researching, I don't know, reading up on a lot of articles,
ordering the coffee, doing all these things that we have.
I love to I don't know, it was like originally, and to this day, I don't know, like I take a lot of the originality behind our craft lattes every week into bartending, and like looking at what other people are playing with in the bartending scene, and kind of like going back to that a little bit. And then we just talk about things we reminisce on our childhood, is where like a lot of the citrus lattes came from. Just growing up in Orlando, our dad always had, he was an agronomist and a horticulturist, and he always had orange trees or lemon trees in the backyard. And that's something we resonate with. And I think it's always like, I don't know, trying to draw inspiration for what we're going to do next, and come back to, whether it's our roots or what other people are excited about in craft beverage industry, I would say. And so a lot of that goes into researching that and seeing what's fun to play with. And like, I don't know.
But really, every week we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants.
Like, it could be a shit show. Yeah, that's like, part of my French there. But
there's often times where we're down to the minute of opening up, and if you're there at 10 o'clock on a Saturday or 8 o'clock on a Friday in the morning, you're probably seeing us run around with our heads cut off, because of how down to the wire we are. And we're trying to get better at that.
We like the pressure.
Yeah, we like pressure, but
and we always wanted to make it perfect, so we're definitely like we like to really make sure we have our ducks in a row before we open the garage door, which Eric will do it sometimes early, and I'm yelling at him as he's opening the door, because I'm like, dude, don't do it yet. But
it's fine. Everything's fine.
But
one brother's just screaming madly at the other. It's fine.
Yeah,
our week is very busy, I would say. I mean, it's funny because we're a pop-up, and we're only a certain amount of hours a week compared to other businesses that are 12 hours every single day. But it's constantly in our brains what we're doing behind the scenes.
The grind doesn't stop.
No, whether it's squeezing oranges for hours in the late evening on a Thursday before we open or before walking into the shop at 6 a.m. Or just or Eric's just having a long Navy day. But it just never stops. It's fun. But it's fun. It's honestly, like it's still, I don't know, we find time to relax. And even at Kobros, it's fun. Like I don't think I ever walk into that shop and I'm like, man, I really don't want to be here or don't want to open. It's always exciting every day. And the passion hasn't dwindled on that.
Got you. Oh, that's so wonderful. Sorry, I have nothing to say. Just so enjoying hearing you guys' story on this. But we have a little bit of time, so I would love to dive into the financials, which I was going to send you guys a follow-up email with like the Excel spreadsheet version. But before we get to that, for the very, very important question, what is each of your favorite craft latte so far?
Ooh, I'm gonna let you answer that first because I already know mine. I want to see if it's the same one.
Okay, I'll be, I guess, picky with it. I don't know. I'm gonna say my favorite was the pear orgeat that we had. That's I
forgot about that.
I would say it was one of those unique ones where it really took Sean's bartending skills of making an orgeat, and then like I still sometimes we're just like, because I don't even know if a lot of people know, but we really do. It is in-house, like it is made from us, from ingredients from the grocery store, of fruits and the like. So, but making pear, like I just think of that fruit that's not the lightest to bite into something that can go and pair with espresso and milk, was kind of crazy. And to see the outcome and be pleasantly surprised with it, I think was I would say is my favorite to make.
Yeah, sure.
What about you?
I always like, there's a lot of unique ones that I would like to like say, but just because they were fun to make. But I think the best tasting one to me that I thoroughly like stopped what I was doing after I took the first sip, and I was just like, this is I'm very proud of myself, I think, was like the cherry latte. That one was that was a beast to tackle, because cherries, I didn't realize at the time how we grew up like our family's from Michigan, and we used to just pick cherries off the tree, and that was kind of like the one time I would truly enjoy cherries. But cherries are expensive, and I didn't realize that when we were making it. And there's a process. You have to pit all those cherries. It's a labor of love, and I was trying to like, we bought pounds and pounds of cherries, and like I got to the home and I was really excited to like start playing with them, and I was like, how are we going to de-pit all of like hundreds of cherries right now? And we ended up just de-pitting hundreds of cherries for that night. But I say it, and I think people might think I'm jokingly on the weekends, but a lot of these are a labor of love. You know, we really want to drink these things, and you know, I don't know. I could talk for hours, I guess, on it, but you know, in the coffee industry, I started drinking coffee black, so I've always started with that. But I will never be too proud, elitist,
manly, or whatever, to not drink a nice craft latte, because
and that strawberry hibiscus one was delicious.
It was so good.
Yeah, pink, and it was delicious. So,
but I think that's it. Yeah.
Those are our two favorite. What about you? I'm curious about your favorite so far.
So it's I actually wrote this down when I wrote my notes. But mine, it's a tie between the ginger pear.
Oh, okay.
And the grapefruit, because the ginger.
I do love the grapefruit. We're trying to bring that back for spring.
Oh, great. Okay.
Which I think it's hilarious that like everyone was so taken aback that like, I don't know, there's a lot of people that don't like grapefruit in general, like the fruit itself. And so a lot of people, like, I don't know, they were caught off guard when whenever we put that on, like new customers and stuff. And we always try to like upsell it to them and just like be like, listen, like it is really good. We really enjoy this, and we've changed a lot of people's minds on grapefruit, I feel, as a fruit in general, and then in coffee, I feel, which is always cool. So I don't know.
Very cool. You should get that as an LED sign when you get the flavor. I'll change your opinion of grapefruit.
I'm here for it.
I like that.
From the business number side, and technically we have 10 minutes left in the Zoom call. I don't know if it'll cut us off or not. If it won't, let's just keep going. We have a couple, so if you have a little bit of extra time, but from like the number side of things, what's the breakdown of what it costs for you guys to open up the pop-up, both in the money side and like the time side?
Like open up, like, are you talking about like as an operation in general, or like what the startup cost was for it?
Yes, what the startup cost was.
I think the startup cost for that, it was expensive because of equipment. Like we didn't, I don't know, as I said before, I come from a mechanical background, and I'm a nerd when it comes to coffee equipment. That is like something that I will, that's half of my Instagram feed is like just like nerdy grinders that are coming out from Alconag and other stuff. But so we definitely, I would say with equipment and everything, it still was pretty cheap compared to most businesses, what they're starting on. But it was about $25,000 is what I would say our startup cost for that location was. And I would say, I don't even know what a very large percentage of that was because we splurged on equipment. And that was all. We didn't take out a loan. We used, I saved a lot of money when I was in the military. I didn't party too much.
And the whole reason I'm still active duty is because I re-enlisted, and I got a bonus for that in order to spend on our startup costs.
He re-enlisted in what, February? No, well, right when we were guaranteed that space on 24th Street. Eric
we were in
Just
talks about doing
decided,
the
yeah.
pop-up. So
He
that's
decided
when-
to reenlist to fuel this passion.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I figured if we landed on hard times or anything like that, I'd still be able to pay the bills for basically getting out of the whole of the startup cost. But
which thankfully he did, and COVID, it's been a blessing to have Eric active duty and have a government paying job while COVID has happened.
But so startup costs like that, I would say close to 25 grand. And
time wise, for startup time, it took us 3 months to the day almost to have everything ready to go between the city and the build out didn't take that long. We were pretty tactful with our build out and tried to make it easy on ourselves because we knew that space wasn't guaranteed. And so we wanted to be able to move out of there in a day if we needed to, in case Dave did decide to kick us out of there or anything.
And we did want to be mobile because the city had never really seen anything like our plans before on being a pop-up with no running water, but still being kind of main based out of a building. So it was, and we really truly are a pop-up where we can be out of that space in a day and a half. And we can pop up anywhere. Essentially, a lot of our machines are able to. We've done pop-ups at breweries and things of that nature. So
plant stores,
horticulture, and
they're awesome people.
But so I guess with the time wise, a lot of it went to getting in touch with the city, getting in touch with the health department, getting a business license. And a lot of that was learning to navigate what to do first and going from there. And there wasn't a lot of help from, it was really a learn as you go kind of process. And I think that's something that Sean and I have always talked about over the last years is trying to get with other local business owners and trying to get kind of like
get a mentorship.
As you were even talking about, not even like mentorship, but just like a checklist of, hey, like these are the steps you should probably take before getting to where you want to go. Because without that business license, you're very limited to what you can do in the food and beverage industry, as well as just in general with the city. And there's a lot of archaic ways of paying taxes to the city taxes and things like that, to where if you don't have the people that we are fortunate to have in our lives as mentors, then it is so hard to navigate, especially for people that there isn't two of them. We talk about it all the time on the only reason that we're able to be where we are is because he's able to hold me accountable and I'm able to hold him accountable to keep following this vision. So
So I don't want to waste any more of that question.
Yeah, get a team. Yeah,
continue.
Get a team. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I don't want to
navigate.
I know that was
tangents again.
Like I've got to I got to hold them accountable. And
yeah. Anyway, but so time 3 months, money about 25,000.
Got you. So since I know that's probably something you'd have to pull up notes on, if you could get me a breakdown on what that 25,000, like how that ended up getting allocated out, that would be great. If you're like, it was 25K, it was a lot of machines.
Yeah, no, I think we have the breakdown from our basically our taxes we did. Yeah, we had to give our accountant. But I mean, just going over real quick, it would be 10,000, close to $11,000 went to the espresso machines alone. I would say $5,000 went to grinders for the coffee. And then the rest went to, I would say, just miscellaneous, like getting the bar built out essentially with buying 3 Craftsman workbenches, getting the water systems, which was close to $1,000. And a lot of these things, and we'll be able to give you a breakdown because we're pretty transparent about those things because, the more the merrier, why not? But yeah, so it starts to add up, and especially with this new shop, we dropped $8,000 on plumbing alone, which is crazy to us. We weren't expecting that, but it's something that I feel like a lot of businesses aren't expecting, and when it comes fast, and people want their money, so just to be prepared for that stuff, and but yeah.
Got you. Okay, so tangent of my own this time. One of the goals of Startup Goodness, the biggest goal of Startup Goodness is just that: guides, checklists. Here is how you start this kind of company, the steps you take, the people to talk to, go forth and do it. So would you guys be willing to partner to help write the checklist?
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, it's I think that's the great, and I knew that was kind of what you were going along with the guidelines, and from what I was reading from the emails that you've been sending, and I think that's such a beautiful thing. We talk about it all the time with Ty from Equinox, and just being in Park Place in general, and seeing a lot of businesses that are that you'll see businesses come and go, and it's frustrating to see somebody have a dream and a passion that they were it was large enough to where they wanted to start a business, and seeing it,
they may not have like the tools,
the resources to maintain that, because of just it wasn't available. And that's so frustrating to me, because I couldn't imagine doing this alone. And having things like what you're trying to build, I think is something that Hampton Roads definitely needs.
Great, thank you. Because I know nothing about the restaurant industry. I know nothing about most of the stuff I'm going to end up writing about. I know the business side of it. I know the marketing side of it. But like the details, I'm just calling people and going, hi, how does this work? How did you start?
Yeah, I think that's perfect, because you know, I can tell you how many people have come to us, not even with coffee shops, but just being like, how did you guys, you know, do this or do that, or get through the city? And that's a lot of things that it's taken a lot of our mentors years, if not decades, to get to that point. And we're fast tracking it because we have these people in our lives, and a lot of people don't. So
and I don't think any of it's ever been like written down. It'd be
That's
really helpful to like have these things planned out. For sure.
And I think that's how a city grows too, is just having people have that opportunity and realizing what it takes in order to be able to do it, and realizing that it's not that hard, you know, if you put your determination towards it. But
could be easier.
It could be easier.
I love how you're like, it wasn't that hard going through all of the thousands of dollars spent on stuff like plumbing, you know, but it's not that hard.
Yeah. And that's one of those things where I think that you know, there's resources out there, and the upfront price might suck initially, but there's resources out there where there's great resources in the small business associations and things like that, but those aren't the only avenues that you can take. And sometimes that is difficult to navigate. So,
Well, thank you guys so much. I think we're actually going to hit exactly on time.
Awesome. Hey, no, that's great.
But do you have anything else you'd like to add or say before? And I say we only because we're recording. I know it sounds weird. Sorry.
No. Hey, thank you, Sophia. Thanks for being a regular. Thanks for you know,
supporting us always. And
trying to do
commenting and just being a supporter of ours is always it doesn't go unnoticed. We appreciate it.
And thanks for what you're doing with these things, like, and what we're talking about is just helping progress Hampton Roads to being a bigger city, being a better community, and it's
helped us sort our thoughts right now. I don't know. It's helped me sort my thoughts and reflect on what's been happening with us this past year.
Yeah, because sometimes we're just kind of streamlined, and just being able to sit and talk about these things helps us out, helps other people out, and I think that's a positive thing. So.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm happy to do it. I always feel like I'm that weird person who walks into the company and is like, how did you build it? I'm really excited about what you're doing. And they look at me like, you're strange. I'm like, I know.
I love it.
No, it's awesome.
It's admirable. It's absolutely amazing. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys so much for the time, so much for doing this. I can't wait to do the write-up. I can't wait to do the checklist. And I'll email you about the breakdown.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sounds good.
And, we'll try to answer anything that you throw at us.
Yeah. And sorry about the tangents. You could probably take out 35 minutes of this if you wanted to. But
no, it's great. I'm just going to cut the video up into like 5-minute chunks and call it a day.
Sweet.
We'll do it. All right. Thanks.
Well, we'll talk soon. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Have a good one, Sophia.
You too. All right. Bye.
Peace.